Sir, good morning. Ramteke sir, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very much fine. And too, yes, sir, you are before the time. Very great to see it, sir.
Yeah, now it's 11:45.
I agree. Actually, sir,
Uh,
what happened? The previous lecture was extended little bit more. So just 2 3 minutes back, it is ended. So within a 5 minute, we will start. We are not
okay,
extending this session. We will start exactly 11:45. No issue, sir.
okay. Sir, one more thing that uh,
Okay, I will wait. I will make you the presenter so that you will be able to share the PPT. So now the share tab at your end may be enabled. So now you are able to share the PPT, I think so. Is it true, sir?
yeah.
Yeah, your screen is visible to us, sir. So give me 2 minutes, sir. 11:45
No
exactly we
issue.
will start, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Sure.
you, sir.
I will waiting here.
Dear participants, I think I'm audible to you all. Dear participants, please write on the chat box if I am audible to you all so that we may start our session. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your kind response. So, good morning again. Welcome again, all the participants in this second session, fourth day of this FDP. I'm so pleased to introduce the resource person of this FDP, Dr. Rakesh Ramteke. He is professor and the head of department of IT at the School of Computer Science in North Maharashtra University. Having more than 25 plus year of experience in teaching and research. His academic and research interests are image processing, pattern recognition, neural network, AI, feature extraction, text classification, soft computing, and many more. He has been recognized and awarded by various national level agencies, including UGC. He is associated in the different agencies and with the different portfolio, maybe like external member, advisory member, editors, reviewers, external examiner. So he had played a role at the various capacity with various institutions and organizations of the India. And you will be surprised to know he has guided 9 Indian and 2 foreigner students, and they all are completed the PhD successfully. And he is still guiding a lot of PhD and MPhil students, and they are really benefiting under his able guidance. He is not only busy in teaching and the PhD guiding the student. In parallelly, many projects he is handling, and he has also completed multiple projects. So really, we are so fortunate to have such kind of personality and learned person that is going to share his knowledge to enlighten us. So the topic, as all you can see in the front of you, is it is a pattern recognition approach to the OCR, optical character recognition. I think so. So without wasting much of the time, I directly invite Professor Ramteke to share your knowledge with our participant. Sir, welcome.
Thank you very much, sir, for such a nice uh, introduction of mine. I'm
I'm
happy
pleased to have, sir.
uh, that you have enlightened me. Uh, that you have introduced me in such a way that there is no word, and I am thankful to you very much, and thankful to participants also. Am I audible to all?
Sir, audible to me? Please, participant, the same with you. Please write on the chat box so that sir may start. Yeah, sir. If the participants are writing, sir, you are quite audible to all.
Okay. So a very good morning to all the participants, including Vivek sir. Pattern recognition approach to OCR. This is my title of today's talk. You are known and as this FDP is entitled as robust AI. It means it is including it is including all the aspects of artificial intelligence, and pattern recognition plays a very important role to complete this particular scenario of AI. And as Vivek sir told me, asked me rather, that what will be topic of my interest to talk before you. So I choose this topic, that is pattern recognition approach towards OCR or to OCR. I will be more emphasizing on OCR as a case study, because now you are working with, means you are knowing the process, and you are making smart enough to handle these AI tools. So beside having this knowledge of AI, including artificial neural network and these all things, this process become very automatic now. But beside this automation of the process, I would like to make you introduce with the steps of this OCR with the help of the different pattern recognition techniques. So friends, as what we are trying to do over here, that we are trying to make this particular interaction with the computer or the system with the human being, and we are just concerned with the design, evaluation, and implementation of interaction or interactive computer system for the application of human being with the study of major phenomena surrounding us. And then when we are trying to do so or trying to interact with the system, we need to differentiate what we are doing or what we are perceiving, the knowledge, and how machine is perceiving. So the main difference in between machine and human being, that the human perceives everything as a pattern, whereas machine perceives or machine gets everything as a data. Now this pattern and data, this is basically we are going to differentiate in our talk today. Now, first of all, we need to understand what is pattern, and you are known that if it is data or it is information or it is knowledge or it is wisdom. Okay, so that all terms will come or all terms will be using by the system, whereas that data, information, knowledge and wisdom is the same step to achieve our wisdom through our knowledge with some information based on some data. That is also the process we undertake when we are getting some knowledge or we are going in the process of wisdom. So the same steps that we are trying to apply with the system, and that will be based on what? Based on the data. Whereas we perceive that all the things as the pattern. Okay. Now let us understand the another term called recognition with the pattern. Maybe you are very well known because you have started with this AI and all the terms or all the tools which are included in AI system or AI process. And I am talking on 4th day. Basically, you are upgraded with all the basic terminology, but as I am talking on pattern recognition, it becomes my duty to talk on these very terms like a pattern and the recognition. Now, friends, we are known that the recognition is made up of two words, or it is a combination of two words, that is re and cognition. Whereas when we define the cognition as a term, and that is to become acquainted with, or maybe it is a process of knowing, is the thing that we are learning the things or we are knowing the things for the first time. For example, when we were trying to learn to write A at the very age of 2 or 3 when in our childhood. So when we were trying to shape the character A, that is two tilted line and one horizontal line is connected to that two tilted line. This was the shape that we were knowing, or when we were knowing for the first time. Our mother or our teacher may be the mediator to make you know the shape of A. So that was the age, that was the time when you were learning to draw a character A, and that was the process of cognition. And then from that time till date, you are getting or you are knowing, or what we are recognizing that particular shape as A. So the recognition is the knowledge or feeling that the present object has been met before, or the process of knowing again. So this is very basic difference in cognition and recognition. Cognition is knowing for the first time, and recognition is meeting again to that particular object, okay, to that particular knowledge, whatever we have acquired, okay. So what is pattern recognition? A pattern is visible entity, and here cognition you are finding, cognition is the learning or learning for the first time. This is learning for the first time, and then V is just we are labelizing it, or we are labeling that particular whatever we have learned before, that is the cognition, and when we are attaching it with re, that becomes the labelization of that particular object, okay, or we are giving the name to that particular object because we are known the name of that particular object, and when we are recognizing it, we are just labeling it, that this is a book, this is a pen, this is this particular object, okay. So this is what the pattern recognition is a characteristic to all the living organism. However, creatures or the many means animals or the other creatures recognize the object very differently, okay. Like human, by our sensible organ, human beings are recognizing the object by our recognizing the patterns by our sensible organs like sight, voice, walking style, vehicle, or in any token which that particular object is carrying. Whereas dog generally recognizes a human or animal by smelling, because the smelling power of this animal is quite strong with other senses. Blind person recognizes the object by touching. Okay. So these different creatures recognizes the object differently. Okay. So like AI, because AI is having many definitions. Pattern as I found, there are for pattern recognitions also there are many popular definitions are lying. One now many I propose two definitions that I found very suitable as a definition of pattern recognition. First definition I'd like to introduce is it is a study of ideas and algorithms that provide computers with a perceptual capacity or capability to put abstract objects or patterns into the category in a simple or reliable way. Friends, this is just if you find that this is a definition I have taken from Hart and Duda's book, and this first definition. And another second definition, it is the ambitious endeavor of mechanization of most fundamental functions of cognition. You will find this definition in a pattern classification, a book of pattern classification. I'm not getting the author of it, but this definition is there. So just these two definitions are defining this pattern recognition in very depth way, in very what you call the reliable manner or very suitable manner. Okay. So these two definitions of pattern recognition, and if you find the applications of pattern recognition are lying in this domain, this is unlimited application lying for this term called pattern recognition. Maybe this is if I start application in this domain, but I will take some of them. That in medical diagnosis, you are known that there are 5 modalities till now in medical domain. That is the modalities like MRI images, magnetic resonance imaging, then CT scan images, that is computed tomography images, then that is microscopic image, X-ray image, and ultrasonic image or sonographic image, these five modalities that we are generally considering, or radiologists are going to consider these modalities, where in pattern recognition, these algorithms are used to diagnose the disease. Okay, like in X-ray image, where whether the bones are fractured or any defect is there, it can be detected and can be diagnosed the disease. Life form analysis, like you are nowadays, you must be having one session of stress management or meditation, and this becomes compulsory in this Atal FDVs. And so that is also when we are talking about this what we call the contemplative sciences, like your yoga, meditations, and this becomes now sciences. And these sciences is having to having some AI applications there over there, and it is basic on pattern recognition techniques. See, I have to go in details of this OCR or character recognition. Therefore, I will not go in depth of these terms where this pattern recognition is applied. This was the life form analysis. The radar detection, having this basically the images, and then the images and analysis of the images. Based on that, radar can be detected, and plenty of applications are lying in the domain of the image processing, right from the object recognition to analyzing images, applying different algorithms, applying different techniques, that is image processing techniques, for recognizing the pattern. Information management system, aerial photo interpretation, weather predictions, where all this pattern, rather I would say this is when you must be learning this machine learning algorithms right now. So basically machine learning algorithms write your search trees to solving any problem. We have to have some basic knowledge which will be analyzed for the transforming it in the knowledge or knowledge based. Okay, so for that, basically these machine learning techniques are nothing but the pattern recognition algorithm or pattern recognition technique. Even in cognitive science and behavioral analysis, this pattern recognition uh, uh, techniques are being used. I would like to share that in our university, management studies is one of the department where one of the professor of management department, they are trying to use this pattern recognition techniques or machine learning techniques to analyze behavior, or they are using behavioral analysis, OB or that operational behavior. There is one subject. Basically, it starts with the cognitive science, since it was started with cognitive science, and they are trying to analyze based on the LIF theory, LIF or LIP, this LIP. So they are trying to estimate with, if there is one couple, and if they are trying to, and they are having some LIPS images of both the people or both the person, and based on that, there are some theory or there are some analogy. Based on that, they are trying to make that how many time this couple will be exist, means this relation of this couple will be exist. See, this kind of research is being done based on this pattern recognition theory, behavioral sciences, and cognitive sciences. And one more application, and there are so many applications, like here in speech processing or the text-to-speech synthesis, or in speaker recognition, pattern recognition applications are being done. And our focus will be on character recognition or optical character recognition. That will be one of the study, that case study that I will try to put before you. Okay. So before trying to go in detail of pattern that optical character recognition, the abstract thing that are needed for processing that optical character recognition, that we will try to discuss first. That is, there are types of pattern, or once again, if I am using the term called pattern, parallelly I will use the term called features also, or attributes also. Patterns are nothing but attributes or features. Okay. So there are three types of pattern, that is spatial pattern, temporal patterns, and abstract patterns. The spatial pattern, which are located in space, or we can have the space where we are focusing, or we are focusing our eyes on that. These are the patterns that can be seen in 2D or 3D forms also. So these patterns or the feature which are located in the space called the spatial features or spatial patterns. Like for example, characters are located in the space or in 2D form or in a 2D platform or 3D platform or something like that. And that we are watching images or we are seeing images for medical diagnosis, that are also that patterns or the images are lying in the space. Okay. Now another type of pattern is temporal pattern, which is distributed in time, like a signal for speech recognition. So we have to work on the signal which are distributed in time. Okay. So we cannot say that this is 2D or 3D or can be measured in the dimensions, or space platform cannot be available uh, to acquire this particular pattern, that is temporal pattern. And abstract pattern which are not distributed in the space and time, like classification of the people based on psychological tests, because this psychological test varies from person to person. It is subjective process, and the subjective process, or say another thing, is a medical diagnosis based on medical history or medical test. So medical history of a patient and medical test of a patient varies from person to person, and therefore once again, if this is a subjective thing, that these particular things are subjective, even like say for even if we are having for medical diagnosis, even if we are having these images as an input to diagnose the disease, but then that is not not enough for diagnosis of the disease. The medical practitioners or doctors are taking some other reports or some other inputs from different medical histories or different medical tests, which are not seen or not interpreted by the spatial patterns or the temporal patterns, and therefore this is called as abstract pattern. So three types of patterns or three types of features: spatial features, temporal features, and abstract features. And there are three approaches, that is statistical approach, pattern recognition approach, structural, and now neural network based is the third approach for this pattern recognition. Now these approaches are, like I would like to say, or I would like to come to the final step called classification. So these patterns or extracting patterns or extracting feature is one step, and when we are approaching towards the final step, that is the classification step, and where the classification can be done based on these three approaches, that is statistical, structural, and neural network based. Okay, so see, these are the steps when these are the steps of pattern recognition when an image is an input tool. When an image is an input tool, so these steps that we have to follow for achieving this pattern recognition or classifying the things. Okay, so first step is acquisition. We have to acquire image, we have to capture the image, we have to enhance that particular image if there are some obstacles are there, or if there are pre-processing that we have to perform on the image. When somewhere there are, we will see what different kind of pre-processings are needed on the document. Then segmentation is needed, like if in our case, that if our document is there, so document will be included images, then textual information, and then textual information will be distributed in different paragraphs, then different lines, sentences, different words may be there. And out of that word, we have to extract the character, and that is called as character segmentation. So we have to segment that image. This is one step, and then we have to extract the feature that is called as pattern of that three types, that is spatial pattern, temporal pattern, and abstract pattern. So if we are having major features or major pattern, then sometimes our system may get disturbed or may doesn't produce the good result or good performance of that particular system. So for that we have to apply another step there, that is feature selection. Now why this feature selection? See, for example, if we want to classify a camel and a cat, what will be the major feature which is going to classify them, these two animals? Okay, so major feature, obviously the four legs are there to every animal. This camel is having four legs, cat is having four legs, tail is there to both. If we are considering these features, this will be meaningless feature because they are creating chaos while classifying these two animals. So what will be major pattern? That will be height. Okay, so height means, as you know, that cat is having minimum height, whereas the camel is tall. Okay, so this will be the major feature. Okay, which will be help us to classify to these two animals. So here we have to take another step called feature selection, which will be playing very important role to classify the object. And once we are classifying, that is way, it will be either way of structural, statistical, or neural network. Now, when we are talking about neural network, this becomes automated, supervised or unsupervised way. But when we are inputting inputting the features, and that will train the features, and then it will recognize. But where we must not be there, where in this particular case, if we are applying any statistical or any structural approach, so that we are known that how this classification are being done. Okay, and once this is classified properly, this will be labelized with one particular class. This will be labelized that this is this particular object, this is a chalk, this is book, this is pen, this is so and so. So this is just we are labelizing. So this is the recognition will be the labelizing process. Okay. And when we are talking about patterns or the pattern recognition, I would once again abstract this particular pattern. This pattern is delineation, whereas once we are extracting this pattern, these patterns will be of two types, that is descriptive features and discriminating features. So discriminative, like say, just I was talking about this example of the camel and cat. Okay, so descriptive features are there. There are four legs, one head, two eyes, okay, nose. These are the descriptive features. And discriminating feature is their height, which helps us to discriminate both of them, whereas it will be helpful for their presentation and finally for the classification. Okay, so this is what we call the major steps that we have to take for the pattern recognition. Okay. Now, when we are talking about feature extraction, this is extractable measurement for the description, depend on the purpose of classification, depends on the quality or what we call the aim of this particular pattern recognition system. For when, that is for cognition and recognition. But now this how generates the question mark, कैसे करना है ये. Okay, so this is just an example I am taking. Once again, we are talking about just abstract of this OCR. Okay. Now these are just some characters you are watching over here. A, B, C, D, E, F. And these characters are made up of some shapes or some lines and curves. Okay. How do we define, or how do we take, or how we shape this A? A is having two tilted lines. If you take this two tilted line and one horizontal line, we should arrange this in such a way that this corner will be attached to each other, and this horizontal line will be assisting to attach to this particular middle of this two tilted line. This will form the shape of A. Okay. For B, if we use one vertical line and two semicircles, two right semicircles, that is this one, that will form the shape of B. For C, only single, this left semicircle can be used to form C. So this, we are having 8 features, these 8 features to form this particular character. So if we check whether, if we are extracting these features, like whether there is what you call this is a 0-degree line, that is, this is horizontal line, a line which is that is one tilted line, maybe it's the right hand side which is curved in the what you call in the 40-degree, that is here this particular line is present over here to form A. There is no vertical line, and one tilted line, another tilted line is there which is molded in 145-degree. Okay, so the presence of this horizontal line and two tilted line, no semicircle, no top semicircle, bottom semicircle, left and right semicircle. Okay, so we are finding if there are 3 features like this one, 3 features means two tilted line and one horizontal line. These features will help us to classify the A, the character A. For B, for forming B, that is one vertical line is there, that is of 90-degree, and two semicircle, right semicircles are there. Then for C, only one left semicircle is there. For forming D, the shape of D, one vertical line and one right semicircle is there. For E, 3 horizontal lines are there, 3 horizontal lines and one vertical line. If these are the features, or these are the patterns are there available, then they are forming E. And for F, there are two what you call two horizontal line and one vertical line is there, that is forming F. Okay, so this will help us extract the features, and that extracted features are classifying in this particular class. You can see that no row is similar to each other. It means no shape of A is matching to anyone. Even if we are comparing A with Z, Z is also using 3 lines and A is also using 3 lines, but they are shaped in such a way that A is taking two tilted line and one horizontal line. Z is taking 2 horizontal line and 1 tilted line. Okay. So this is what the discriminating features. So these rows are discriminating each individual characters from each other. Okay. Now this was just what we call the general idea of this character recognition or OCR. And then there are the statistical approaches, like here decision boundaries are taken, that is maybe linear decision boundary or non-linear decision boundary. This is what you call the recognition approach, or this is classifying approach, classification or classifier approach. Okay, so this will take us, means when if this discrimination features are available to the classifier, classifier will classify that features in the specific class and will labelize labelize to that particular class, and it will be this recognition process will be accomplished. Okay. So friends, this was just an abstract of what we call the this pattern recognition. Now we are turning towards the approach called OCR, or the document processing. Now, if till now, if any question is there, so sir, Vivek sir.
Yeah. So I'm requesting to the
If,
participant, if any of the question discussion, if you want, you may interrupt in between and may ask the question during the lecture. Don't wait for the question answer
yes,
session
no
time.
issue, no
Please.
issue. No issue.
Yeah.
Anywhere participant can stop me and can ask me the question. And for up to now, if there is any question or any discussion, if
Sir, you continue. Whenever the participant will have a question, I will also read it out for you, sir.
okay, sir. Okay. So, analyzing this document in very in digital manner, because processing a document in digital domain takes a lot of effort, and having so many techniques used by, and a huge research is being done and it's already done, and right now also quite matlab, to the point, or the depth research is going on in 18 different languages, in Indian languages, 18 constitutional languages, maybe it is 22, sorry, 22 constitutional languages, and which are written in 10 different scripts, India. So the scripts where the documents are written and the languages that documents can be read. Okay. So when we are talking about this physical document is converted into digital domain, and then that once again that becomes the problem of what you call the pattern recognition. The recognition, once again, recognition of characters, recognition, if it is holistic approach, recognition of words, and then the complete document can be recognized. But friends, before that, while defining this document, it's a material substance having presentation of the thoughts of men or women by means of conventional work or symbol. Obviously, it is a source of data, information, and knowledge. This is a source of data, information, and knowledge which makes man wise. Okay. So that document is divided into two parts basically, that is image document or natural language document. Like a general article is there, that can be considered to be a natural language document. Image document further divided into like a scientific, legal, or pictorial document, or graphical document, or textual document. So our focus will be like this particular area, okay, that is textual image document. Okay, our focus will be this particular approach. Okay, now further this will be what is called as this scientific, legal, or pictorial. So when we are talking about pictorial, having photographs, satellite, or medical images or medical document. The graphical maybe plan of city or this VLSI. So our focus will be on textual information or textual image document. Okay. So what is OCR? First of all, most of you must be knowing, but still I'm putting this thing before you. That is, if we are giving a scan image of machine printed or a handwritten text as an input to a system called OCR system, we will be getting an output which will be in the computer editable format, which will be if, and obviously when we are capturing an image of document, it is not readable to any word processing software. So when we are applying this optical character recognition system, or now this is available right now, but this is very smart for English document or this Roman document, but our Indian languages or our Indian script still struggling for making or for preparing their OCR in their local languages, for their local languages or their local scripts. Okay, and therefore this study is having meaningful importance. Okay, so this computer editable format will be an output, or this can be readable by the system itself. Okay, so when we are talking about character recognition system, now maybe if it is local character recognition system or Indian language character recognition system, even though we are having two types of character recognition, that is printed character recognition and handwritten character recognition. One more thing is there, one more type is there, hand printed recognition, character recognition, where you must be getting that hand printed means we are generating the shapes of any characters by our pencil. When we are drawing that or when we are generating that shape, that will be with the help of any shape taken, but we are using our pen or our pencil to generate that shape of any character or any numeral, that will be called as hand printed. But once again, that has to be captured and then we have to process further for that. Hand written character recognition is also having two ways of recognizing the system, that is online character recognition and offline character recognition. For online character recognition, online handwritten character recognition, we need to have like a digital pen and digital pad where we can write something online, and the process will be uh, being done at the same time. Whereas an offline handwritten character, we have to capture or we have to acquire that particular document, handwritten document, and then we have to process for it's pre-process. Then we have to go through that particular steps like a pre-processing, segmentation, feature extraction, and then classification. Okay. So for this, these are the types of character recognition, and these are the steps or stages in OCR. Like we had a pattern recognition, like we are having now here in OCR. Specifically, we are taking here the transformation as a pre-processing. Image acquisition is needed, that is acquiring the image, capturing the image, that is called as converting into numerical representation. Now for those who are having the knowledge of image processing, it is not for them, but I would like to share this acquiring the image or converting into numerical representation. What does it mean? Numerical representation means what? When we are capturing that, we have to go for two steps, that is sampling and quantization. Sampling is a way where we have to generate the space, and quantization is the digitization basically. And digitization means what? So if we are generated space to make an image, that image is, you know, that image is having a pixel, and the pixel is having intensity. If that pixel is of gray level or grayscale pixel or gray color pixel, the intensity varies from 0 to 255 or 256 gray levels are there. So that pixels are given that digital number or numerical representation or digital value, and that is called as the intensity value, and that intensity value is nothing but the numerical representation. If the image is black and white or binary image, that numbers will be varying from 0 to 1. If there is a black color, we can give 1, or if it is white color, can give the 0. These two digital numbers will be given, or vice versa we can do so. So this is numerical representation of the image, which when we are converting the image. Okay, so we may have three types of images, like the color image, where we are having RGB representation of an image. We are having another type of image called grayscale image, where we are having the shades from black to white or white to black. So 256 shades are there, or 256 gray levels are there. Okay, and another type of image is there called binary image or black and white image. There are only two shades are there, one black and another one is white. Okay, so white will have 0 value or black will have 1 value, or vice versa, that values will be given. Okay, so this is what, when we are giving the numbers, we are representing it in the numerical way, and that is called as image acquisition. Once it is acquired, this another step is called image transformation, that is what you call pre-processing. This was the step there in that pattern recognition. Pre-processing was step. Here we are just using image transformation, that is image to image operation. Okay, like calculating threshold, like converting the color image into grayscale image, or grayscale image into binary image, applying some filters or some if the image is what you call some skewed image, so we have to deskew that particular image. If your image is having some noise, some dots are there, say suppose we are using our scanner and the scanner is having some, say suppose some chalk rust is lying on the scanner, and we are not known that there are some rust is lying on that flatbed scanner, and if we put our document for the scanning, what will be the output? Output will be, means in that image, the output image will have some dots on the on that documents which are not a part of the document. Okay, so in such a case we have to remove that noise. We have to make that image noise free, and for that we have to apply some filters so that that can be remove that noise. And another thing, that is another step called image segmentation, which divides an image into regions, or for in character recognition we have to separate, we have to make separate that each individual characters from words from lines or sentences, and lines from paragraphs, and so on. Okay, so this is a segmentation process. Then the feature extraction, that is just we have seen that patterns that we have to extract. So there are so many ways of this feature extraction, or so many techniques available for feature extraction. Recognition is one more thing. This is the classification and recognition. So classifier will be combined with the recognition process, or it will be assigning some labels to the image components. Okay, labelizing the particular characters, whether it is A or if it is numeral. So we are having 9 numerals or 10 numerals, that is 0 to 9. So we will have 10 classes of numerals. Okay, or say for the printed this English characters or this Roman characters, maybe there are 26 classes for the uppercase letters, 26 classes for lowercase letters, and 10 classes for numerals. So total classes are 62 classes, say, considering these particular things, considering the Roman script. Okay, and after that, if this post processing also needed, this correction of the errors and output formatting. This post processing, like if we are having some special characters, and if you removed when we were pre-processing your document, so we need to have this special characters there in that particular output. Okay, that is when the document becomes readable. So this post processing is also becomes a part of this document processing. Okay. So first of all, this document acquiring or this what we call the image acquiring of the document. This is what you call a scan type, maybe color, grayscale, or binary. This is just a given that resolution, image resolution, that is 300 dpi, generally needed 12 points font and above, okay, or 400 to 600 dpi needed for fonts smaller than 10 points. Okay, so these are some specification given for the scanning the document. Scan type, that is color, grayscale, or binary. We have discussed that three types of images. Okay, grayscale image is preferable as it gives better control over the conversion to the binary. Okay, because once we are putting a threshold value to convert grayscale image into binary image, just if you go at the middle of it, means if you divide that 256, if there are 256 level, if we consider that the 128 is a middle value or middle numeral, which helps us to make to be a threshold value, the value which are less than 128 will be converted to 0, and value which are greater than 128 will be converted to 1. So likewise, this particular ways we can apply for thresholding, and therefore this grayscale image is preferable. And the input device, that is a scanner, or now we are having Adobe scanner with your mobile also. So your mobile can be used for as your digital camera. And now this Adobe is having OCR itself. This software also combined with this Adobe, or many softwares are available. OCR apps are also available, but that are specifically made for the Roman script documents or the English type of documents. Still, many languages or many areas of the Indian script are working to make their smart application of OCR or smart app of OCR. Still, many researchers are working under in this particular area. Okay, so first of all, binarization means and once again, it is needed to make the document binarized so that we will be playing or we will be working with only two values, or values of what? Values of pixel intensity. Okay, now that pixel, when we are using pixel, is a abbreviated form of picture element or the image element. Okay, so if we are having less values to play, then we will be quite comfortable. So therefore, if we play with 256 value and we are playing with only two values, that is 0 and 1, which one is better? Playing with two means we can find the better result with two values, not 256 values. Okay, so generally if we are working with a grayscale image or color image, once again color image is having based on three basic colors: red, green, and blue. So each character or each image will have these three channels of color, whereas each channel will have 256 level. Okay, that is for red, it is cyan to red, magenta to green, and yellow to blue. Okay, so these three channels will have 256 into 256 into 256 levels will be there. Okay, so this will be once again that will be generating more values, or what we call the more numbers with which we have to play. So it is rather better to convert that color image into grayscale image and grayscale image into binary image. We can directly convert that grayscale image, that color image into binary image also. Okay, so this is called as binarization based on some threshold. Like just I talked about the thresholding. Just if we are having this image of grayscale image, and the middle value if you are finding as 128 is a threshold value, so we can use the threshold T, and accordingly we can convert it into 0 or 1. Okay, so we are having some grayscale images, threshold, this is global threshold, and this is local threshold. Now local threshold, that just if I am taking the simple way, the mid value we are considering, so that can be considered as a global threshold. But if you are considering the local threshold, we can find all the characters over here, even if it is blurred, but then we can read it properly. These are readable, whereas here it is not possible. Okay, so it will be very good to apply our local threshold, that we should generate our local threshold to make the image in binary, means to image in the black and white color. Okay. Once again, this is another pre-processing step called noise reduction or normalization. Normalization and noise reduction, basically, if we are taking in one slide, but then these are two different processes. Okay. Noise reduction, once again, if we are finding here some dots or some noise is there in this particular image, in this particular image some noise is there, so it can be means it can be clear and having this, see, this K is having more pixel than this particular line. Okay, this particular line. So if you are having the more pixel density, that will be better to come to this. It will be better for further steps. Okay, so this can be achieved with uh, with two techniques called filtering. Those who are known to this image processing, they can aware of this, they must be aware of this filtering or masking that particular image. Or we can apply some morphological operations like erosion, dilation. These all things are there, that Woods and Gonzalez books are there, that is digital fundamentals of digital image processing. And these things are explained in that particular book very well. Or you can find these all materials on imageprocessingplace.com. This one site is there, imageprocessingplace.com. You can find that all the details about this filtering and morphological, the material can be achieved from that particular site. Okay, so this normalization and okay, normalization is like resizing that particular image and making, if we are scanning an image of different size, so we have to resize that particular image. That can be considered to be a normalization image, a normalization of that particular image. Normalization, in another way also, normalization provides a tremendous reduction in the data size, that when we are using this thinning or this morphological processing, morphological operations if we are using. So thinning extract the shape information of the character. Like here you are finding this is thin character, or this is called as a skeletonization of the character. This means from that particular book, the 9th chapter is their morphological operation, where these thinning and skeletalization is discussed properly. So this is thinning. This is once again the noise reduction and normalization. This another pre-processing. If sometimes you find that your document is skewed or is suppose tilted somewhere, so that will be very hard to process further. Like it is very hard to segment that particular documents or segment that particular character. It is very hard to extract the features from the character. It is very hard to select the features for the further processing of recognition and classification. So if there are such kind of problems when we are scanning the document, and you must be facing this particular problem for many times, even if you are scanning your document with your mobile. So we have to be very cautious when you are when you are capturing that particular photograph of your document. Okay. Right now, this Adobe or other apps are useful to plot that particular document properly, even though sometimes that is skewed. Okay, so that tiltness is there. So the skew are to be deskewed. Okay, and we have studied some deskew techniques or skew detection and correction techniques. Okay, here one technique that we personally we have implemented this technique in our research lab, and another technique is there that we have just implemented this techniques, and it is published in long back in 2011. Okay, that is based on the moment based approach. Okay, so first we will discuss this particular technique, that is boundary growing approach. Simple way is there. First of all, we have to identify the connected components of the characters in the text line in the skewed. Now, how these particular connected components are identified? You see this once first when we are traversing that particular pixel, once we are getting the first pixel, we are finding the connected components of that particular pixel. Like here, we are getting the first pixel over here, we are finding connected pixels towards this particular side. So whenever we are getting these boundaries, and say next what we have done, we have the fixed particular boundary of that particular character. Boundary means the height of that particular character. Okay, so boundaries using lowermost and uppermost coordinates means ये यहाँ से यहाँ तक uppermost and lowermost character. So we found the boundary of that particular character and allow the boundary to grow until it reaches the next pixel of the neighboring character. So here it will be growing up to next pixel and up to the end of the line. Okay. Now then draw rectangular for whole text line using the coordinates of first and last character. The middle line gives the slope of the text line. Now this is just simple thing was there. Once we are getting middle line, we can calculate the slope of that particular line. Okay, that is m. And once we are getting that m, we are just getting that particular angle, and based on that angle, we can rotate that angle, rotate that particular document with the angle. Okay, whether it is minus or plus or negative or positive, based on accordingly we can rotate that particular document. So, but then sometimes problems occur. Now these are very continuous or blurless or smooth characters are there, and here you are finding the blurred. Okay, this when we are moving the document, sometimes these characters get blurred. Okay, so we have to apply then the sharpness filters over here, and the sharpness filters or other filters may make that deblur that particular document. Okay. Okay. So this is one approach. Another approach, just this was we found this another approach for displaying the image. The document, whatever document is there, this is now the skewed document. We found center of gravity based on this particular equation. Okay, center of gravity, this particular equation is there. It is mpq equals to summation of 0 to m and 0 to m. Actually this m and n should be there. X raised to power p, y raised to power q. This is movement based approach of finding the center of gravity. Okay, and that gives you the pixel distribution around the center of gravity. So here we found that the pixels which are distributed around the ground boundaries, and once again we are found we able to found the 4 farthest point of this particular document, 4 corner points of that particular document. This is x1 x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3 and x4 y4. These 4 farthest points we could found, and then we applied this moment invariant or moment measure of moments. So first of all, this center of gravity is calculated by x bar y bar, that is m of 10. This is first level calculations of their x bar and y bar. M 1000 like here, and then we have calculated this moments up to second order. Okay, second order derivative. So this is calculated as mu11. This is moment 11, 20 and 02. So we have calculated this uh, uh, moments up to second order, and we have got this angle, that is angle theta. So angle theta we could achieve by here 1 divided by 2 tan inverse twice mu11 divided by mu20 minus mu02. This was the formula that we have used for calculate this theta, that is Q angle, and then we have rotated that particular document in accordingly that theta or that Q angle. Okay? So now this is the corrected angle. I can provide the material, or we can find that papers over here. This is just what you call. I will give these all slides to Vivek sir, so that you can find this techniques over there in this for Q detection or Q correction. Then another aspect or another preprocessing is the slant removals. Once again, there are if we are handwriting, so there are many handwriting styles are there. They uses this slant. So slant removal techniques also available. I will not discuss the slant removal techniques because I think I don't have much time to discuss these things, because we have to go for further steps like feature extraction and segmentation. See here once again this segmentation, this another step is an operation that seeks to decompose an image of the sequence of characters into sub-images of individual symbols, like a sub-images of individual characters. This makes the character classification, or before that character feature extraction and classification easier to handle the bulky database. Okay. Now, if this was just I had talked about English characters or this Roman characters, 62 classes are there, but for Devanagari, there are many classes are there. That is, say, some what you call the consonants, different consonants are there, vowels are there, then the half conjugates are there, that connected components also there. So working with this Devanagari script is quite difficult once again. Okay. And then there are upper modifiers, lower modifiers. So dealing with these all types of the characters is quite, it becomes a bulky database, and therefore the segmentation plays very important role. If your segmentation process is good, or if its performance is good, that will be supportive for the further step, which will give you the very easy process. Okay. So segmentation can be done with very different ways. It is Hopf transforms or projection profiles. So some characters are there, like if this is producing the gap. So this gap is a tool for separating these two lines. Okay, this projection profile. But if it is handwritten, then that becomes very tough to extract or to segment the line. And even these lines are connected. So extracting words from this line becomes a very difficult task. Okay. So this is just an experiment we have done for Devanagari segmentation. If this image is given of word, how to connect, how to separate the characters. Okay. Now just we have used this projection profile method. We have applied some techniques, that is techniques, image processing techniques in MATLAB. We have performed this particular operation. So these characters is this word is taken over here. We have the height and width, and that basically the size of it. One major one, or one very vital tool is there called Shirorekha, or header line of in Devanagari. This you cannot, you never find it in the English script or in English language. So this tool is very powerful tool in Devanagari, which helps us to divide the characters, divide the word. Okay. Like once we are able to move this Shirorekha from this, then the process becomes very easy. Now when we get this horizontal profile, so you are finding that the maximum pixels, horizontal profile if you are taking, maximum pixels are lying in these 2-3 rows. So if you remove these 2-3 rows, you will find that the line is removed. Now, once it is removed, then upper modifiers and core characters are getting separated. We can get that separate. Means upper modifier means this one, that this character and this core character, this upper modifier and core characters can be get separated. Okay. So once this upper modifier is separated, this particular part remains. Okay. This part remains present over here. Now, if we take, now if it is printed or if it is written properly, then we are finding the vertical gaps in between two characters also. Okay. So here, this is once again defining the gap where there is no pixels in the different in the column. Then and only then only that tool can be used, that column can be used to make these two characters separated. Okay. And this is how we can make this character separated from the word. Okay. And here there are some top modifiers also there. So if we talk about Devanagari words or Devanagari segmentation and their further process or what we call the feature extraction and the classification and then recognition. So once this process is being done, another tools are there. Means if it is, this is upper modifier which can be removed with the help of removing Shirorekha to remove upper modifiers. But what about lower modifiers when we have like this one? So there is some techniques we have used, like we have calculated what if it is identified that there is a character is having lower modifier. One Veena Bansal's book or thesis is available, which has worked properly on this lower modifier. So that particular paper we have taken, or we have taken help of that particular paper to remove this, what you call this lower modifier. Okay. So basically we have calculated height of that particular character and we have divided into 3 parts. This is lower, middle and upper. So we have considered one third part as a lower modifier and 2-3 parts as a core character. Okay. And obviously there was some calculations we have done, and then that helps us to divide this lower modifier from this particular character. Okay. So separate means this lower modifier got separated in this particular. So this is how we can detect this lower modifier also. And once it is detected, even though it is not easy job, that we have to classify, we have to categorize. Rather, we will say that what you call the clustering of the characters we made based on some criteria. The criteria is that if we divide the character in 9 zones, and if you talk about first row, first column, second column, and third column, so sometimes we are having the maximum pixels lying in the third column, and that is called as n bar character. This basically we have work on this, and if you are finding the maximum pixels in this second column, then it is called as mid bar characters. And if you are finding no maximum, all columns are having the approximately same number of pixels, then there is no n bar or middle bar character. So we can call it as a no bar character. So we have categorized, or we have make a cluster of the different characters. Like here, these are the n bar characters, these are middle bar characters, and these are no bar characters. So once again, if we get this cluster, the cluster of n bar, AB, MB, and NB, then we can it becomes easy to classify the character. Okay, and once it is classified, then it becomes easy to recognize the characters. Okay, so basically for Devanagari, we have worked on very deeply on this particular categorization or this classification of the characters. Okay. Then document layout and analysis, that is once again very different structure and properties of discussed in the documentation. This once again, this is not to be discussed. For now, first of all, we have to focus on feature extraction. So as I said, that statistical, structural, and global transformations and movements are there. Features, once again, that is the pattern, as we have discussed in pattern recognition. So due to the nature of handwriting, the writing style, its variability and impression obtaining features is a difficult task, because every person writes differently there. And once even that, if you are writing for the first time, it is not same for the second time. Even if you make your signature, the two signatures are not same. There are some difference in two signatures. Maybe that signatures may have the pixel density may be high or low, or your curves may be different curves for two different signatures. So these particular problems are there, and therefore we have to extract the proper features of your writing or your text. So generally many researchers are combining the structural and statistical features or global transformation features. Sometimes even statistical features are enough to achieve the goal. Okay, so we are having these features. Just we will go for this. We need to go speedily. Okay, because we have not ample time, because we have to conclude it, I think, at 1:15. So I will go in
No issue,
very.
sir. You can conclude within the time. Whatever the pace
Okay,
you are
okay,
maintaining, it's good. And within the time, whatever the content has been delivered, that will be enough. I think you are explaining very nicely, sir.
okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank.
So if we are talking about statistical features, so generally zoning or projection profile or crossing and distance, this is measurable features that we can extract from the characters. Okay. Uh, so say zoning means what? We have dividing the characters in the specific zones, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, 5 by 5, or so on, so that major information can be extracted. If there is no content of the characters in the specific zone, we can eliminate that particular zone. We can consider the zones which are containing the information regarding the characters only. Okay, and that may lessen the efforts of our further processing, lessen the efforts of our applying the techniques and the segmentation and so on. Okay. So this M by N zones we can generate. This is zoning. This once again, this is zoning as a density feature. Density features means, once again, what is the density of the pixel? Means if we are having thickened density, that is, or thin density. Thickened density means the intensity value is higher, and you are having thin density, it means that your intensity value is lower. This is just what the density features can be dealt in this particular way. So darker square indicates higher intensity, higher density of the zone cells. Okay, so it means that when we are having darker density, it means our information or our data contains in that zone. So zoning is a technique which is helpful. That is, generally many researchers have applied this particular techniques of zoning, so that you are finding the content of that particular image, or the information of that image is lying in that zone. So the zones where there is no content can be eliminated, can be removed, or can be not considered for the further process. Okay. So this is a way of zoning. Then projection profile. This is 2D or 1D signals we can generate. Basically, here these projection profiles are nothing but this is just the summation of the intensity values lying in this particular row. The number of pixels, if this image is a binary image, it is the summation of number of pixels in this particular individual row. Okay, so if this particular image is having say 100 rows, this one vector will be generated that this particular row is having the sum of the pixel is say suppose 10, then here say suppose 90, or it is 100 in this particular. So this is just one vector will be calculated, that is number of pixels lying in this particular row, and then that vector is plotted over here, and this becomes the projection, that is horizontal projection of this image. And if this is once again, this is the number of summation of the pixels lying in that particular column. Okay, so number of pixels are maximum here in this particular column you are finding, and this is the vertical projection profile of the image. Okay, here once again profiles. See, if we these profiles are given like a it's a count of number of pixels between the bounding box of the character image and the edge of the character. The profile describes well the external shape of the characters and allows to distinguish between the great number of letters, that is P and Q. Okay, if we found the mirror image of P is Q, mirror image of P is Q. Okay, so in that particular case, if you applying the global transformations or movements, that will confuse because it is invariant under the basic transformation, and the mirroring is a transformation. Okay, so if we are transforming P, or if you are getting mirror image of Q, so this global invariant global moment invariant techniques get failed to extract the features. Okay, so in that particular case, we have to find out this profile. See, this is simple thing, like if we see this particular character from the top of this particular image, so this will look like this one. From this side, from left side, if you see this particular character, this is this particular profile. If you see from the right side of that particular character, or from bottom side of the particular image of that particular character, it will generate such kind of profiles, okay, which are not same in these particular two cases. Okay, so this helps us to distinguish these characters, which helps further to classify the characters. Okay, so this was just a profile that we have just seen. And one another thing is like a crossings and distances. This crossing and distances here, just you see there's how many crossings are there writing for A, and how many loops for there, whether there is loop or not. See, this is that's where the this what you call the statistical features. Here just we are talking about the structural features. Okay. So in structural features, how many crossings are there, how many endpoints are there, starting points if it is there, then loops are there, measuring of these all things like a cross points, loops, branch points, strokes, their directions, inflection between 2 points, horizontal curves, and or top or bottom. So these are the structural features. See, statistical features, structural features, and now we are talking about the global features. Now global features, that is just we have taken moment. The Fourier transform of the contour of the image is calculated. So there are some central movement features. There are some Zernike movements, or many movement which are invariant under the basic transformation, like translation, scaling, and rotation. And why? Because if your handwriting style is different, so if you are writing, maybe some slant is there if you are writing, or if you are writing something like it is in rotated form, then also even then also your features are extracted which are same. Feature extracted are same in this particular case in the moment invariant. Okay, so you see here this sometimes you look like this is S or the 5. So even this 5 or S is written in such a way, here you are looking like a S. Now, even though if this is the case, you will find, or you will be having the features of the same type. Okay, or same features you will be finding. And this is what we call the very major benefit of this particular technique. Okay. Now for this, for invariant, for our character recognition, we also tried this particular feature, because these moments which are extracted feature derived from raw material that are invariant under this basic transformation. But even basic transformations like translation, scaling, rotation, it is invariant under, or it is independent under reflection and orientation also. Now you see here, this is an original image. This is translated image, resized image. Okay, this is scaled image. This is rotated, and this is reflected image. Okay. So even if you put these all images separately to extract these features of movement invariant, you will find the same features of this character A. Okay, so this is very a good tool that we found it, but then some problems occur that I will discuss later. So feature is extracted, that is moment invariant taking, central moment invariant taking. Basically that central invariant moments we have just used before that in 2011 papers to extract that what you call the center of gravity. Basically this is also used to calculate the central of gravity of that particular character, and based on the pixel which are distributed along that particular central of gravity, it is calculated with this particular central of gravity can be calculated as x bar, y bar. Okay, and these moments are taken that 1001 or 0110 for y bar. So based on that, each individual up to level 3 means up to this 3 degree 3, we can calculate this bar, that is that normalized central moment to shape and to invariant under the shape and size is defined as here neta pq equals to mu pq divided by mu 00 is to power gamma, and gamma is p plus q divided by 2 plus 1. Okay, just this also, this particular equation, this what you call the mathematics, rather it is not a mathematics, it is the expression is described in that book, Woods and Gonzalez book, and it is described in chapter 11. Okay, that is representation, description and representation. These things are described in that mathematical book, that Woods and Gonzalez image processing book, and we have implemented that in MATLAB. Okay, so finally we are getting this 7 5 1 2 5 7 with the help of this neta we have calculated, and this 7 5 is considered to be the 7 feature of one image, 7 features of one image. And you see here that if we consider this 3 and the 9, there are 2 images, and you see here if we are given that, like we have given different images for calculating the this 51257 or moment invariant, original image, translated image, resized image, rotated image, and reflected image or mirror image. So if we given these 3 as an image, original image, half size image, reflected image, rotated by 2 and rotated by 45, you see these are the features of 51257. These are the features. You see this 5-1 of all type of images, like original, half size, reflection, rotated, and rotated by 45. Yeah, they are lying in the range of 1.12 to 1.15. तो जो feature का gap है, मतलब features जो है, they are lying in that particular range. Very low deviation is there. Minimum standard deviation is there. Okay, for 5-1. 5-2 is lying in the range of 4. 5-3 is lying in the range of 9 to 10. 5-4 is 6 or 7. 5-5 is 16, 17. 5-6 is 10, 11. and phi 7 is 16, in the range of 16. Okay. And see the case of 9. These are once again original half size, or that is resized, reflected and rotated images are there. You see this first row or first column is lying in the range of 100 to 103. This is just a range. Okay, even resized and rotated are same, and original and reflected, these features are same. For phi 1, phi 2, these are the features. Phi 3, these are the features are lying in the range 4. Phi 4, you see these are the features. Okay. Now, if even see if you are, what is the benefit of these features? They are discriminating, because see here the features of 3 and features of 9. Phi 7 is completely different, because phi 7 for 9, it is lying in the range of 12 to 13, whereas they are not at all matching with phi 7, and this helps us to discriminate the features. It is phi 7 for 9 is different, phi 7 for 3 is different. Okay. See the phi 6 also, this is ranging in the range of 8, whereas this is different. Okay. This is phi 5 is ranging in the range of 11, whereas here 16, 17. Here it is 5, it is 6. Okay, it is 4, and here it is 9 and 6. So this helps to discriminate 3 and 9. The image 3 in Devanagari and image 9 of Devanagari. Okay. This has given us the recognition rate or performance rate up to 96, more than 96% on 1000 database. 10,000 database of the printed numerals of Devanagari. Okay. But what happened when we are using this 1, 7 and 9 or 3 or 6, then it creates a problem because of their similar appearance, and here this is the reflected appearance. If we rotating, so this moment invariant is very what we call very dangerous for such kind of cases. Okay, so this cannot be used in this particular, like here bo and sh, po and bo, and bho and ma. For this also, because of their similar appearance, this is very dangerous for generating discriminative features. You are finding the similar features over there, and for that we tried to apply once again some different methodologies, some representative methodologies for that, and therefore we could get success. Like we have make the zoning of image, that is called as image partition. We have divided this image into 4 zones, and here this upper left, lower left, right, upper right and lower right. So, and then we tried to extract the feature of each part or each zone of it, and it is added with, once again it is summed up with its original image. Means here this is an image of 3, so original moment invariant features we have extracted, and then individual parts features, moment invariant features we have extracted. So we had 7 original and now 28 of these 4 parts. So 7 plus 28, we had 35 features of this particular image. Okay, so when we had 35 features, our recognition rate reached up to 74, and once again we have tried to zone in this way, that is half part we have made left and right, and we have tried this like a diagonal parts also we have taken. So in this particular case, we could achieve this up to 92%, more than 92% recognition rate. So we had features of 7 plus 28, this 28, then we had this 28 features plus this 14 features were there of diagonal features. So this much features were there, and these are handwritten characters, handwritten numerals were there. 96 I was talking about, that was for printed. Okay, more than 96, that was for printed. But for for this we had many features over here. But once again, as this was the case, the pixel distribution in all zones was quite was a major issue, was major problem. For that, we have applied this principal component axis, which helps us to distribute that to move that particular character in such a way that all pixels or all content of that image will be lying in all the zones parallelly, or it is similar similar distribution of the character is done. So for that, but in this particular one, when the image was with the help of these equations, we have tried to rotate this particular image. So while rotating some image, some pixels were lying in the image content itself. So that for that we have applied median filter, and then image was removed with removed from that particular noise. But the success rate was not that much, which was we achieved in the previous case. So therefore we tried some other issues like perturb movement. We tried to disturb that particular image by applying one perturb parameter, perturbation parameter. Like this perturbation parameter was 0.1. The idea behind it was to disturb that particular character, the image of that particular. Let's say this is what we call a rugby ball, or if you press that particular ball, it changes shape, like it is pressing or stretching. So we somewhere we add this particular parameter in the equation, and we somewhere we subtract this particular parameter from this the main equation, and we try to disturb or do perturb that particular image in this particular way. This was the thing. Okay, so in that particular case also we couldn't achieve the highest rate over there, but only first case was there. This was another methodology that we have applied. We tried another method to shift the center, like here we are having a center of that particular character. We tried to make this particular center in this particular zone, or here also, or here also, or here. But then this also didn't work. But this that perturb movement for these basic shapes or basic geometrical shapes we have tried. So this could achieve this much success rate. Samples were taken like maybe 5 plus from 1000. It's 5000 samples were there, and we tried on 5000 samples. We could achieve for these shapes. It is taken from 1000 people. They have tried this kind of basic geometrical shapes. Okay. So, and one another, this was another method that we have tried for this character recognition, that is blocking of some of the characters. We divided that image into these different zones, and what we have done, we have calculated the sum of all the pixels lying in this zone, and we put that particular intensity value to the center of that particular zone. Okay, like whatever the sum of all pixels lying in this particular zone is kept in at the center of this particular zone. Okay, so likewise we are getting the shape of this 4, and what happened, this is sum of the pixel, some of the pixels kept in the center of that particular zone, center pixel, at the center pixel of the zone. So they generated this structure of characters, and the structure of different characters found differently. And what happened, that helps us to remove the noise, that remove which was lying in that particular zone was summed up and kept at the center of that particular zone. And this helps us to use to compress the image also. The size of image is minimized in this particular technique that we have applied. One paper in 2015, I think it is presented in an international conference by one of the students. Okay, so this once again we have tried. So this mean and standard deviation we have taken, and finally this classification. Once these features extracted in different ways. The feature extraction steps we have taken over here. And then we have used this Gaussian distribution function to classify these all features. And that for classification, if we apply this Gaussian distribution, we tried it in the fuzzy membership function. MS Gauss MF नाम का एक function है MATLAB में, so we have applied that Gauss MF. We have tried to explore this expressions also. Individual ways we have tried to do this calculation. Okay, so here we tried like this one. This recognition rate till now we could achieve for handwritten characters. Quite there is a good scope to be done for Devanagari. Okay, for printed like this one. Okay, so this overall earlier work that we came across for this different scripts, Indian scripts like Devanagari, Bangla, Oriya, Urdu, Bangla, Gujarati, Gaurmukhi, Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam. We have came across this particular works and tried it at our level. Okay, some PG students are taking their projects to implement these techniques. Okay, so this was there. So friends, from my side, this was there. Current status of OCR is, right, this is the current status machine printed and handwritten. There is a good scope over here, rather I would say, need more research, like here unconstrained, noiseless and noisy handwritten documents having good scope in Indian scenario. This needs to be improved, that is cursive and mixed data is there, that is handwritten, and this is we got here smart success rate over here. Okay, discrete handwritten, offline, noiseless, Marathi printed, machine printed document. This is well done. Okay, so this was from my side. Thank you very much. So I generally use this. Now the question or no question? Vivek sir.
Thank you, sir. Participant, please, if you have any of the questions and you want to have a discussion, please unmute yourself, and otherwise you may also write on the chat box. Whatever the link server suggesting image processing place.com, I have just copied in the chat box. Please refer yourself. And if you have a questions, then okay. Otherwise, you may also write questions to me. I will revert all those questions to the Ramteke sir as later on. So all the things you can follow. No issue, sir. I think right now they don't have questions. Otherwise, they will ask. I will forward it to you.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much,
sir. Sir, thank you very
yes.
much to you. And I think every participant is agree that you have just demonstrated your own experience on your working. It is not
that
typical
was
lecture.
case studies.
Yeah. It is not only the things from the different literatures you have just summarizing over here. Instead, you had worked with your PhD and an MPhil scholar all those problems. That's why in between small things you were just introducing to our participant, like suppose some image copy or photo you have taken, it might be in the sentence or page is not aligned, it may be skewed. So that is a real practical problems. If somebody have work on that, they can understand. Otherwise, everybody understand the data set or data means that data will be clean and will be available for you directly to use. But in real life, it doesn't happen at all. And you have nicely distinguished the term cognition and recognition. So normally I also never thought about that. We can divide that term in re and cognition. Really, it was very nice, and very simply, effortlessly, you have covered all the things, taken various kind of features like a descriptive features you have taken in discussion, discriminative features, structural features, many things about quantization, digitization, image acquisition, image processing, segmentation. Many, I think that lecture was complete a book, you can say. If somebody have seriously attended that lecture, he has earned all the possible terminologies that maybe he has to be familiar when he or she will go for in this area. So lecture was your so nice lecture, and the student has to understand we can solve the
Thank you.
problem in the two way, in the two way like sir has discussed by using image processing, computer vision, pattern
So,
recognition
so,
technique. You
so,
can
so
identify.
one thing I'd like to, I'd like to share is those who understand the things, they have the question. Otherwise, they don't raise the question. So one side, I suppose that if there is, if they couldn't understand the thing, therefore they are not raising the question. But anyways, I am thankful to all of you, and nice meeting you, sir, Vivek sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
for you. You are so kind enough to agreed upon and my request and given your valuable time for all the participants. You have enlightened us, and really you are very realistic way. You have explained all the things, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, it's my pleasure, sir. Thank you. So may I leave you now, sir?
Yes, sir. Please. So, dear participant, we will meet again 3 p.m. today, and I will take that session will be on the unsupervised learning, and I will cover the clustering process over there. So, thank you all. We will meet again the 3 p.m. today. Thank you.
Vivek sir,
Yeah, please.
yeah. So Ramesh sir's lecture, so that PDF is very much needed because so much new terms we have learned. No, means if we will not go through it, we cannot remember the terms also. In the image recognition, so
Which
many terms. This one,
oh,
Ramesh
Ramteke
sir.
sir, you're talking about. Okay,
Hi, hi.
I will request to them. He already announced. Meanwhile, he will share all the PPT with me, so I will share to
Yes.
you. Not a problem.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.